Russian troops have seized the biggest nuclear power plant in Europe. The fire was later extinguished and no radiation was released. The attack took place in the southeastern part of Ukraine, and the regular staff continue to run the plant. There has also been minor diplomatic progress. Russia and Ukraine have reached a tentative agreement to set up safe corridors to evacuate citizens, food, and medicine. Philip Crowther, Associated Press international affiliate reporter, joins us now from the Poland-Ukraine border. Philip, good to see you. As we just mentioned, Russia has taken control of that nuclear power plant in Ukraine, the largest in Europe. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, there were real fears last night during the night that there could have even been an escape of radioactive material from that nuclear power plant. There was a fire burning there, but it was not on one of the reactors, it was on one of the administrative buildings. But to see Russian rockets hit a nuclear plant, the biggest one in Europe, got a lot of people worried last night, including, of course, the Ukrainian government. It keeps on asking for more help from the West. It wants a no-fly zone over Ukraine. Now, who would be able to implement that? Well, only NATO, with the United States at its head, of course, and that is something that NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg absolutely said was not going to happen. What we're seeing on the ground in Ukraine is that Russian forces are advancing. It might be slow in some areas around the capital city of Kiev, for example, but still Russian forces are moving toward that capital city from the south. For example, the fact that they were able to take over a nuclear power plant, and the biggest one in Europe, is just one more sign that this is not exactly going according to plan for Russia, but those advances are being made.
And Philip, can you give us an update where you are at the Poland-Ukraine border and the refugee situation? I understand that many of them are children.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason for this. There are mainly women and children who are arriving here at this train station in Przemyśl. This is the closest big town to the closest border we have here between Ukraine and Poland. And this is a place where trains are still arriving from the Ukrainian capital city. There is a reason why there are so many children and women here. It's because the men who have Ukrainian citizenship are not allowed to leave the country. Anybody between the ages of 18 and 60 has to stay behind. They are all expected to fight the war if need be. Now, today also I spent some time at Medica. Medica is the closest border station from here, around 10 miles up the road from here. Now, we've seen thousands of refugees crossing the border there and hundreds lining up tonight trying to get a seat on a bus that will bring them to this town. And from here, they hope to get on other buses that can take them to other cities here in Poland or to anywhere where they might be able to link up with friends or family members. It's a pretty chaotic situation on the Ukrainian side. I can tell you from a conversation I had with a Nigerian student, he says he had to walk for 3 hours in order to get over that border and into Poland. Here, though, things are pretty well organized. The humanitarian relief efforts are very impressive, and there is a lot of gratitude from refugees toward the Polish government and toward the Polish people.
And Philip, how far are we from seeing an end to this war? What do you think from what you're seeing?
Look, any signs that we're seeing are minimal steps toward any kind of little peace agreements. You know that there are talks happening between the Ukrainians and Russians. Those aren't peace talks. It's simply the fact that Ukrainians and Russians are able to get together at a table on the border with Belarus. That's already a good sign. Sure, the two sides are talking, but humanitarian corridors, as you mentioned, have been agreed upon in theory. They don't exist yet at this point. These are all little plans that still have to be developed. There are no signs from Russian President Vladimir Putin that he wants to put the brakes on his invasion. There are no signs on the ground that show that either. And diplomatically, as I mentioned, there don't seem to be any particular advances right now. A lot of Ukrainian cities are being shelled, they're being bombed by the Russians right now, and they don't seem to be letting up at this point. And of course, in the capital city of Kiev, the fears are very, very tangible that Russian forces want to encircle the capital city, maybe strangle it, and somehow get Ukraine to give up that way. What we know, of course, from the ground, from people we know who are going into the country to fight, from those I met before I left Kiev as well. These are men, Ukrainian men, who are willing to fight, who are willing to defend their country. They will not be giving it up easily.
Oh, Philip, thank you so much. And again, please stay safe. Thank you again.
Thank you.